This is probably going to be the last day of woodwork on this airplane. I've still got two pieces to cut, which are the flap fairings, or three pieces, two flap fairings and one small piece that goes on the elevator here. I did this side, I have to do the other side. But that's the end of that. But I thought, because yesterday I did the layout of the wheel doors, or the landing gear, I would do the wheel doors video today. And I went a little overboard on these wheel doors. I use light ply as a filler. Normally it's just a small piece of light ply with 1/8" balsa wood, but because I'm going to be flying this model in the grass, I want these wheel doors pretty stout, and they're ahead of the center of gravity anyway, so that helps. But anyhow, how it's done is take a piece of plywood. I use 32nd plywood for the shape of the door, and then fill the wheel door with the plywood or a piece of basswood, and then 1/8" balsa, and then we're going to cap it with a piece of 16th, and this happens to have some type of scale detail on it, and that's all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it. And some people will say, well, it's going to break or it's going to twist. Well, I've never had one break or twist or whatever. I suppose it would if you crashed, but you know, as long as you're not grabbing it by the wheel door, twisting on it or anything like that, I've yet to have a problem. So make sure that we got it. Yeah, it's pointed in the right direction here. I'm trying to be the cameraman and the person doing it, so it's a little difficult, but hopefully you can get an idea of what I'm doing here. And it's nothing nothing spectacular. Now you can wrap pieces of wire or solder a piece of brass on this to keep it from twisting, but I have yet, like I said, have a problem with it because the landing gear strut sticks out that hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up some epoxy, 5-minute stuff. This will be the last videos on the Thunderbolt. For what, first off, because I'm finished with the woodwork, and I'm going to be moving on to finishing the fuselage. And as I stated, I'm going to be finishing that fuselage in the Zpoxy method. So what I do is I just mix up the epoxy really well, and we're really going to load that crack up with epoxy. And it is a messy, a messy proposition, so make sure that your workbench has some wax paper, or you have a way to get the epoxy off, because it is gonna ooze out onto the bench. I don't care, because my bench is glass and I'm able to scrape it off. So we paint the epoxy on really well. And that's that. So now, oh, I missed a spot here. I'm going to slide that on there. I normally add the wheel at this time so that I can line, come on. So that I can align this door up with the wheel in this direction here. And got epoxy all over my hands. Takes a lot of clamps to do this as well, but that's all right. These Harbor Freight spring clamps, I just love them. I wish I had some more of them. They're the greatest. Make sure that it's on there square, because once it's dry, you can't move it. And that's that. So now we're gonna wait the 5 minutes, and we'll be back and we'll finish it up. I had the 2 wheel collars, and I'm going to cut off the excess landing gear. And I guess I could run the camera while I finish the last of the woodwork, the 2 fillets and the last piece over there. But as I've stated, this project's just about ready for the finishing. And with my workload, I don't see it making Brodax. It might make it out to the field come September, but you know, my last Thunderbolt, I spent 3 months just in the finish. 3 months. So we had 40 hours a week. Then I was doing 40 hours a week times 4, 8160. I had about 500 hours just in the finish. So almost dry. We'll take that off, turn it upside down, and finish up the process. But the reason why I wanted to show this little piece here was that I had been asked by someone, how do you do those nice doors? Well, that's it. There's nothing to it. I guess we could mix up some superfill today too, and I can't put the fillets in here until I get the fuselage Zpoxy. And I don't want to spend another full day on this, because I do have to get back to my other projects. But I want to work on this a little every day, because before you know it, it's complete. I mean, it could possibly make Brodax, but I don't know. Today's episode is on the Zpoxy method of finishing. And the wings have been tissued and doped. But as I stated, the hobby shop is out of paintbrushes, so I'm kind of stuck doing it how I used to do it. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to show you the easy method for the Zpoxy finish. It takes a credit card, paper towels, acid brush, and Zpoxy. I dug up all my old bottles of Zpoxy because I was way down in supply, and I poured them all into these two bottles. And I just listened to Wendy there, and I must have done something right, because after pouring all the bottles of Zpoxy I had together, we have the same amount. So we're going to mix up about an ounce of Zpoxy. Let me turn off the I'm hearing Wendy's compressor running in the background. One thing I didn't do that I should have, and I'm going to do that right now, is I need to take this cowling back off. I want everybody to look at that setup, that electrical setup there. That is so nice. Much better than I've seen it anywhere else. Alright, the cowling, as I told you, was going to take extreme amount of abuse. I did put a piece of 64th plywood on that one vent. So we're going to mix up the Zpoxy real well. Now, the actual process is not, well, you'll understand as I do it. I'm just going to paint this on the cowling here, on these doors, because these were untreated. As I have warned you, this cowl will take abuse, so we're gonna get it ready for battle, so to speak. I like the Zpoxy method of finishing it. It's alright. I mean, is it as light as dope? Probably not. And we're going to go around the inside of these holes because they take abuse. I'm hoping that you guys are getting something out of the Thunderbolt series. It's it really hasn't been an instructional series. It's been more of a, you know, just let you know what I'm doing. Kind of, you know, build along in my shop with me. At one particular time, before I started this one, it was going to be a how-to video for a Chris Rudd kit, but I decided that I'd just go ahead and build one. Okay. Because this is going to take abuse, we're going to go ahead and paint the whole cowl one more coat. So this has been fiberglassed with Zpoxy, coated one coat with Zpoxy, sanded, coated one coat with Zpoxy, and now actually this is the third coat of Zpoxy. And this will be the only piece to get 3 coats, because one, you're handling this, and two, it takes a lot of abuse. I suppose it would be more important if it was an IC model, but okay, so we got it covered real good there, painted pretty nice. And we'll set that aside. Now, on for the Zpoxy finish. So we're going to be painting this on, obviously. But we're going to be taking it off. Because all I'm trying to do with this coat of Zpoxy is seal the wood. So I normally do, maybe a foot at a time. We'll do up to the area there. Now about 75% of this is going to come off. We might get lucky enough to get the fillets in tonight. Okay, so you saw that. Well, let's do this side too. We'll just go ahead and do this side. I'm doing the bottom first for the simple fact that I'm going to turn it over and set it on its wheels and do the top, because if I can get away with it, I'm going to try to do this all in one setting. And this particular style of finish can either be really nice or it can ruin your airplane. So if you're going to do this style of finish, do it exactly like this. Okay, we got about a foot painted. We'll get some paper towel here. And now we need to take it all off. See how much come off of there? Now this will get no tissue, no carbon fiber, just a coat of primer and clear dope. So you have to have your woodwork, it has to be sanded pretty good before you start doing this. Alright, so that's basically how you do it. You kind of get the idea. Once you have it all carted off, throw the paper towel away, get a new paper towel, and wipe it off. We really don't want to leave any on it. And you think, well, what good's it going to do? Trust me. Okay. Yeah, one more wipe. Okay, let's do the back half. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to wipe some of this off the cowling here. I just don't want it to pick up a ton of weight. Now, I can't say that I invented this system, but this is how I used to do it in the 90s. Viper 1 through 4 was done, finished in this manner. And they ranged anywhere from 40 ounces to 50 ounces. The thing that really starts picking up weight is the actual paint itself. You wouldn't think so, but paint is heavy. Okay, we wiped most of the Zpoxy off that. So we'll do the back half here. And you have to be real careful on the back half of the airplane, because it doesn't take much to make your airplane tail heavy. I mean, I know that we're in good shape. It might take 2 mixes. The nice thing about this method, it's fast. All right. When you're doing this, you can see the coverage. Make sure it's covered, because we're only going to do this once. This doesn't get a second coat of Zpoxy. This is just to seal the wood. I think I kind of figured this Zpoxy method out many years ago. It was before the 90s, because back in the 70s we had a finishing type resin that I used to use on combat planes on the nacelle. And you'd put a coat of finishing resin on it and then put a coat of dope on it. Boy, that balsa wood looks so nice. So that's, like I said, I don't know whether this is my original idea or not. It really isn't anything original, but I did something similar to this in the 70s. Okay. My videos kind of got a little out of order because I have been taping these, the building process of this, but I just left the footage in the computer, and like I say, it just got out of order a little bit, but whatever, you'll be able to figure it out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my channel. We're growing, 5 1/4. All right. Let's do the rudder too, I think. It's starting to set up. It's going to be time to mix a new batch. Getting thick. Yep, we have a little waste there. Anyway, make sure you get it all off. That's pretty important. We don't want to be carrying around any of this Zpoxy today. The airplane or the airframe was sanded 220 till it was smooth, then sanded with 320 till it was smooth, ultra smooth, and then ultimately we're sealing the grain with Zpoxy. And I'm going to have to mix up another batch. So, this is the first video of the finishing series. This will be a complete in-depth series on how to finish and detail this model. So I don't know how long we've been working on this, few minutes, half an hour maybe. Take it off the foam pad, turn it over, set it on the bench. And we'll do the top half, and I'm going to have to mix up some more Zpoxy, so when we come back, we'll finish up the Zpoxy job, so see you in a short. Started the top portion of the airplane now, and I just put a coat on it. I haven't carded it or wiped it or anything in it. I mean, if you want it to shine, it's pretty shiny stuff, but we don't want to shine. We just I want the sealing properties of this. And so just get it covered real good. For sheer speed of finish, this way is probably the fastest. The old school free flight way of you know, 2 coats of dope, Japanese tissue, 2 coats of dope, that's the lightest way. But I'm not sure how much lighter. And with this model, I want light, but I also want primo good. So we'll go this route. Card it off, wipe the material off. But the biggest thing, if you're going to finish like this, is get it off. And you think, well, if you're taking it off, why did you put it on? Well, what it does is when we come back in a few hours, this wood is sealed. And the reason why I started finishing like this is in the 90s, one of the reasons, or the reasoning behind it was the dope. The dope is always sinking into the wood. It's always, you know, sucking, the wood is sucking the dope up. Well, this stops that. I suppose I could have put some hairspray on it, but we'll just go with how I used to do it. We'll be able to come back later on this afternoon and put our fillets in. I hope I've made this pretty clear on how and why I'm doing it this way. I'd like to take this to Brodax and I'd like to have it for the next season. And with all these projects that I'm doing for other people, I just don't have the time to do it the old-fashioned way. But we'll make it happen. So remember, now that I got it carted off, the last step is to take the paper towel and wipe it off. Ah, I missed that whole spot there. Alright, so we have it all covered now. took the tail wheel off the original Thunderbolt and soldered it on this one. Cannibalizing parts. So we have it all carded off. Now we're going to wipe it off. If you're a brave soul and you give this a try, I wish you luck. It has worked for me. We're doing it here. You know, I wouldn't chance it on an airplane this expensive with this much time in it. There you have it. Once again, make sure you like, subscribe, share my channel to stay updated with, I don't know, the way I do things. My way's not the only way, but it's the way I do it. And things have always worked for me, so. I notice there's a lot of guys who say they do things, but I know they ain't right. So now we're going to wait till tomorrow. It should be pretty well ready to sand tomorrow. It gets a light coat, light sanding with 220. And then a light sanding with 320. We'll go ahead and put the fillets on it and we can start painting. So I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.